Welcome back to Lesson 9 of Business Accounting, and today we will be looking at the economic order quantity, or in short we refer to the EOQ. Now you will see there's a little graphical explanation of the EOQ, but don't break your heads over this because we will look at the economic order quantity in detail in this lesson. Now the agenda for this lesson is to introduce the economic order quantity, to look at the assumptions underlying this term or the economic order quantity, to look at the advantages. So why do we use this formula and the actual formula? We must look at the actual formula, and only if we know what is meant by the economic order quantity, the assumptions and the advantages, then we will look at the actual formula and we will do an example. Remember, in accounting, some students make the mistake to say that they only need to know the formulas and how to apply the formula, but you must know the theoretical part behind the formula. Only then, if you understand the theoretical work, then you can start to apply formulas to get to the actual answer. Alright, so then it's the example, and then we also look at interest considerations and discount considerations. Now, what is meant by the economic order quantity? That is basically the sweet spot where your holding and ordering costs are kept to a minimum, but your inventory levels are still sufficient to meet customer demand. Now, let's break down this introduction in smaller parts. So we are talking about the sweet spot. So that is the right spot. That is the correct or the right level of ordering. It's the right level of quantity that you are going to order. We are talking about holding cost. We are talking about ordering cost. Because remember, to hold inventory or to order inventory will cost you something. That is not for free. So to hold the inventory and to order inventory will cost you a certain price, and those are known as the holding cost and the ordering cost. Now you don't want to spend too much on holding cost and ordering cost because those are expenses to your business. And then also at the same time, you want to keep this to a minimum, but at the same time, your inventory levels should be sufficient to meet customer demand. So your inventory levels should not be too low because then you can't meet customer demand. And at the same time, when your levels are too high, then your holding cost will be too high. Now remember, your total cost of an item is not only the purchase price. Some people would say it's only the purchase price, but remember, you are purchasing something. Now you must hold that item in the store up to the stage when you are going to sell this item. And also to order this item will cost you something. These will not come for free or at no cost. So your total cost is then your purchase cost plus your holding cost plus your ordering cost. Let's say we want to purchase cool drink. Now, if we purchase cool drink, we must keep that cool drink in the store up to when we are going to sell the cool drink. And also to order the cool drink, there will be certain costs involved to order because someone needs to deliver it at your store. Those will be ordering costs. So let me write it there. The purchase price is then the actual cost of the item. So let's say we buy this cool drink at $10 each. So this is our purchase price. But then also we need to hold that cool drink in our store. Remember, we are not going to sell the cool drink on the very same day, so we need to hold it in the store. So what can be included in the holding cost? I would say the storage will be a factor. Also insurance. against fire. Someone can steal the cool drink, so there will be theft involved. This cool drink can get old, and then you need to sell it at a lower price, and we call that shrinkage. And then also, if you look at the ordering cost, someone will have to deliver this cool drink to your store. So there will be delivering costs. Now, all of these will be added to your purchase cost to get your total cost. So now you can see, if you want to purchase something, you will have to pay the purchase price. That's a given. But you really want to prevent holding cost and ordering cost from getting too high. So you want to minimize your holding cost and your ordering cost, but still you don't want to run into trouble that you can't meet your customer demand. What will happen if you can't meet customer demand? Your customers will get angry, you will lose out on business, and maybe they won't get back to you. What will happen if your inventory levels are too high? Then your holding cost will be too high and it will cut into your profit. Now, it's the theoretical part is kind of straightforward, but in practice it can be a bit more difficult because your EOQ model has certain assumptions. So we must say we know our demand and the demand is constant. Now it's the theoretical part to say what is the demand is easy, but if you have a store, do you know what is your demand? Is your demand constant or will it go up and down? Then the lead time, we spoke about lead time in the previous lesson. This is how long it will take you when you order these items. How long will it take to get these items or the order into the store? So do you know how long it will take? And is it constant? Then quantity discounts are not available, so we are saying there's no discounts at this stage. The receipt of the inventory is instantaneous, so when you order inventory, it will be delivered. The variable costs are limited to the ordering cost and the holding cost. So we are saying there's no other variable cost. We only look at ordering cost and the holding cost. And then we are also saying that if orders are placed at the right time, then stock outs can be avoided. So what is meant by stock outs? Stock outs is if you ran out of stock. So you want to avoid stock out. So we are saying that if we place the orders at the right time, then we won't run out of stock. So these are the assumptions underlying the economic order quantity model. So what are the advantages? And in the previous or on the previous pages, you can actually see what is the advantages of using the economic order quantity model, because we can prevent stock outs. If we have stock outs, our customers would become very angry. We want to meet customer demands, because then our customer will be friendly and he will come back. We don't want to overstock, because to overstock will cost you a lot of money. And we want to reduce on ordering costs, such as transport and handling fees. If we place too many orders, we will have to pay a lot of transport and handling fees. So we really want to reduce our ordering cost also. So now that we know what are the assumptions and why we use this model and what are the advantages of using this model, I can give you the formula. Now there's the formula. You will see it's a square root. Now on your calculators you will find a square root function, but we will do this during the lesson. Now in the square root I have a 2. a 2 is always constant, so we will never change the 2. And then I have a C. Now the C is the cost of placing an order, so that is my ordering cost. Now in some textbooks you will find that they replace the C with an O. So wherever you see the O, it means it's the cost of placing an order. So the O is for order. All right, the C is then for ordering cost. All right, and then the U in my formula is for my annual usage. Now, some textbooks will show a D, and the D is for demand. So, D for demand and U for annual usage. And then divided by H. Now, my H is the holding cost per unit. So we looked at the previous lessons, we looked at ordering costs, we looked at annual usage or demand, and we also spoke about the holding cost per unit. So if you go to other textbooks, you may find 2 times O, which is in our example the C, times D, which is the annual demand, or the annual usage demand, then over H, and H is my holding cost. So in this example, my shop sells 1,000 t-shirts per year. So what would you say this 1,000 t-shirts, is that important when we use the economic order quantity model? That 1,000 t-shirts, it seems to me that can be the annual usage, or U. All right. Then it costs the company $5 per year to hold a single t-shirt. So that $5 seems to me can be the holding cost. I will use different colors so that you can see the differences. So the 1,000 t-shirts are my annual usage or my demand. While the $5 seems to be the holding cost, and the cost to place an order is $2. So my ordering cost is then $2. So let me quickly fill this in. So I said my ordering cost is $2. My holding cost is $5. And my annual usage is how many units? It's 1,000 units. So now I can do the calculation. So I would say 2 times C. C is my ordering cost, and I said that is $2. So it's, sorry for that. So it's 2 times $2, and then also times U, and U is my annual usage, and I said that was 1,000 units. So this is what I have above the line, and now below the line I have my holding cost, and I said my holding cost is $5. So let me write it there, is $5. All right, so if I do this, I will get 2 times 2 equals 4 times 1,000. That equals then 4 times 1,000 equals 4,000. And below the line, I have 5. And that will be, if I do this calculation, 4,000 divided by 5 equals 800. But this is not my answer. This is not my final answer. Remember, this 800, I need to get the square root. So if you type in your calculator 800 and then you press the square root, you should then get, and I will quickly do it on my calculator. So the square root of 800 will give you 28.28. So what does this mean? This means that if you take 28.28 and you multiply it by itself, so 28.28 times 28.28, then you should get 800. So this is only a way to test your answer. Now, what does this mean? Is this now Namibian dollar? Is it 28 Namibian dollar? No, we calculated the quantity. So we are saying we must order 28.28 units. But can we order 28.28 units? No, we can't. We can only order 28 t-shirts or 29 t-shirts. So because this is now lower than 50, we will not round it up. So we will say the economic order quantity is then 28. So in a nutshell, we are saying that if we order 28 t-shirts at a certain time, we will meet the customer demand. We will not run out of stock. And our holding cost and ordering cost will be kept to a minimum. Now, remember, sometimes you will need to pay interest when you buy products. So when will this be? Let's say you don't have cash available. Then you will have to pay interest to borrow this money and to do the purchases. So now you can guess that the holding cost will now increase because you have to pay interest, so the holding cost will now be a bit more. How do we calculate the holding cost then? Now we take the purchase price times the interest rate, and you add it then to the existing holding cost. Now there's the formula. Your H is then the holding cost plus your purchase price times the interest rate. P is the purchase price and I is then the interest rate. So your holding cost will now be a bit more. But remember, in most scenarios, you won't get the purchase price. They won't give you the purchase price and they won't give you the interest rate. So then you stick with the old holding cost that you used to calculate. Then you don't need to do this calculation. So only when you are provided with a purchase price and the interest rate, you can then adjust your holding cost to increase the interest. Then just to summarize, in lesson 9, I introduced you to the economic order quantity, and that was basically when do you balance out the ordering cost and the holding cost and see that you won't run out of stock. Then in lesson 10, we will look at discount. Remember, sometimes your supplier will tell you, look, if you order a bit more, then we will give you some discount. So we need to consider discount also. And then we will do a comprehensive exercise in lesson 10. So lesson 10, not really too much on new concepts, only to consider the discount, but then really to do a comprehensive exercise on the economic order quantity. Thank you guys for tuning in to lesson 9. I trust that you understand the economic order quantity now and that you will then tune in for lesson 10 also.